Hey, everybody, this is PVD Horror. I'm Dave, along with my co host here, Brandon. Today, we have a special episode that's based all around the upcoming film, Bambi the Reckoning. We have Nicola Wright, Nikki, here
Nikki.
with us. And we have Greg Birkumshaw, who is a composer for the film. And both of you are actually returning to these projects from Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. So they might recognize both of your names from that project as well as some other projects. But thank you guys both for joining us. You're both overseas, so I know this is coordinating this can sometimes be tricky. So we appreciate you guys making the time for us.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
No problem. Nikki, having starred in many projects, what is your experience like as a professional drama coach, juggling your film career while guiding the next generation of actors?
Oh, well, as far as drama coaching, I just do it at the weekends and it's very much with young people. So
Okay.
literally from the babies, 3-year-olds. So I don't worry too much about how much guiding or controlling. Up to the 16-year-olds, and then I have a group of special sort of young adults with learning difficulties.
Okay.
So they're aged between about 21 and 32. So I guess the only ones that are potentially looking for a career would be a few of the teens. A lot of them are just doing it because they do dance and singing where I teach, and acting. So some of them have been more into the singing, some of them have been more into the dancing. So it's not like being at a college where that is definitely what they're going to do.
Okay.
They are to a certain extent doing it for fun, some of them.
That's really cool.
Mm.
Very
Now,
rewarding.
yeah. Now, Greg, your award-winning compositions for short films, television are impressive. What sparked your interest in becoming a composer?
Um, all the films, I guess, from the 80s and 90s, just being a kid, wanting to be Batman or Terminator, and just, singing the themes. Since being a kid, I think this is what I've always wanted to do. So,
Mm,
yeah, that would be it. That
So-
and my dad brought me up on a lot of there was this record from the BBC Sound Effects Library,
okay.
and I used to play it on repeat, like just both sides, and it was the horror sound effects. So you'd have like a
Okay.
woman screaming, that's it, yeah, and you'd have like a gorilla, sound of a gorilla, then you'd have like a chainsaw. None of it really had much of a thread, but obviously when you're a kid, you make the thread in your head.
Mm.
You fill in the spaces, and obviously in my head, I've still got this incredibly macabre story that runs through this record. But when you listen to it again, it's just a spattering of sound effects,
Yeah.
But I think that was it. I think from that point on, along with Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah, I was just like, these sounds are creating something so much scarier. I was quite lucky; my parents let me watch a lot of horror, as a
Yeah.
kid.
Mhm.
So yeah, and everything I saw in my head was so much scarier than the films. And so yeah, I guess it was it's an evolution from that, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So that's kind of how you approach creating a score. Is you're seeing the story in your head and you're kind of creating the sounds that you feel would go along with it. Is that how you would describe it?
No, I mean sometimes I'm given the script before production, and directors or producers will come to me and say how much of this can be done, because there's a lot of story that can be told with subtext, isn't there? And so it can save money on production if you can tell it through a sound, for example. Like I don't know if you've seen Memoria with Tilda Swinton.
No.
No, I have
Oh,
not
I
seen that.
haven't.
Nikki, watch it. It's brilliant, really, really good. But it says this woman, she hears this strange sound, but you never see. This isn't ruining it, but you never see where this sound is coming from.
Okay.
She's just constantly trying to find out what this sound is. But in doing that, you've basically got Tilda Swinton just living her life just on the screen.
Right.
You've got this
Right.
whole nother section, unbelievable section of the story that you never see. It's just done through a sound. And I think, yeah, I'm terrible for losing track of what the question was. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I actually wanted to ask you though. So when you're composing a score for a film that's, like the Dark Bambi or Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare or something like that, do you approach it any differently to incorporate the idea that these are like have the childhood aspects, or do you just continue to treat it like it's straight horror?
So obviously, I'm one part of a huge collaboration.
Yeah.
So Nikki and I collaborated on a film before called what's it called? The Monster Beneath Us.
Yes.
Yes. And again,
Yeah.
that was me pulling, same with Bambi, pulling a lot from Nikki's performance, and the story that she had made from the script in her head and then performed, and then I'd pull from that. So it's between the director, the actors, and then obviously along with Ryan Hatton, who does all the sound at the end.
Mhm.
We just have to then draw from what everyone has then done up to that point. There's no point in me saying, well, I had this great idea, I'm going to shoehorn it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that answers the question.
It's very collaborative, it sounds like.
Very,
It's, you can't do one piece without this other piece being in
No, you
place.
can't. But I always actually think the sound is probably the most important part of a film. It makes it or breaks it,
Sure.
in my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you can get away with maybe not the greatest camera shot sometimes, but you can't get away with bad sound, or it definitely makes it or breaks it.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You could have the best camera angles, and if the sound's not
That's what I mean.
or
Without good
you're
sound,
exactly right.
you're
Yep.
lost. You can get away with some not great angles and
Mhm.
some funny little things going on screen, but if the music's good, it will still possibly work, but not the other way around.
100%.
We were very lucky, Ryan and myself, because we've been given good projects with fantastic cinematography. In this case, Vince Knight, and obviously and direction with Dan Allen. So when it gets to us, we have very little. Well, obviously, there's always something that wasn't achieved on set because of budget or something or time, and they'll say, "Can you find a way to bring this concept, this idea I wanted, back into the film?" Which is that's fun, isn't it? I don't know if it's the same with you, Nikki. You sort of there's something that's missing. I say, "Can you somehow put this back in?"
Yeah. And also, I'm a great believer in sometimes you don't need this dialogue can be overwritten in some films, that that's the beauty of film, that just a little look or something or even this will say so much more than words ever do. So I dread great big speeches of exposition, not because I don't necessarily want to learn them, but I don't always think they're that interesting to listen to. Whereas in theatre, of course, you do need more words.
Sure.
Yeah, very well put. I'd say. Film is so immediate, you can get so close. Like when you played, I forget the character in Monster Beneath Us,
Mrs. Grey.
Miss Grey. Some of those, there's like moments. Nikki walks out the house as Miss Grey, and it's a look. And there was very little the score needed to do,
Yeah, and I didn't actually have, if you had looked at all the dialogue, I probably didn't have that much, but you get a lot of screen time, and it's looks and feeling of foreboding.
Yeah, very good.
Nice. Now, could you both share with us some of your favorite horror films and your favorite Disney movie of all time?
Oh, God, I could talk horror for hours. Dearie me. Do you want to go first, Greg?
Nikki, you go first.
Well, I think the one that probably still stands in my mind, because I saw it when I was very young, and so it was the most effective or affecting at the time, was The Exorcist. And I still think it stands as a great story. It's a drama with horror. And looking back at those effects at the time and knowing how much it was all practical, I just find, that's a goodie for me. Of recent years, middling years, I liked The Descent.
Okay.
I really liked, what was the one recently? Begins with a B. I saw oh God. See, Not Talk to Me. I saw the new one
Oh,
yesterday.
Bring Her Back.
I knew
Bring
you were
Her
going to say that.
Back.
I had a
Yep.
feeling you were going to mention that one.
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
it
that was
good?
very.
Yes.
She's great. So, yeah, there was a couple of little things that I'd have liked to know a bit more,
Sure.
Yeah.
but it was very disturbing. I like disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Um,
thick, Nikki.
what was the one where they were in the house and it switches and the lady's down in the sort of long basement?
Barbarian.
Barbarian. I
Yep.
loved that.
Yep.
So
And then
some
obviously,
great picks.
some of the Japanese original, looking
Yeah.
back. Oh, just, there's lots, but those are probably some of my key ones.
Excellent.
Now, what's your favorite Disney movie of all time?
She was hoping you wouldn't go back to that.
You can't say Bambi.
No, Bambi. Well, I remember seeing Bambi and making me cry. I think the
Yep.
ones that were played the most in our house when my kids were young, that they were all played a lot, but the ones that I didn't mind because I liked the music, I did like Aladdin,
Okay.
and I did quite like Beauty and the Beast at the time,
Okay.
both of those. But I'm just trying to think. Me personally, I kind of liked those two. I don't really have a favorite.
Yeah.
I like,
You stole my
I loved
answer.
his. Go on, what's yours,
No,
Greg?
you stole my answer. I don't know if I have a favorite.
Okay.
No.
I'm actually just Googling Disney films so I can cheat.
Well, it's funny seeing a whole load new because I've got a grandchildren, so I'm seeing a whole load of new ones. There's always a middle gap. You see the ones you saw as a child,
Yep.
then you have to sit through all the ones with your children, and then there's a big gap so I won't know, for example, maybe Tangled or certain,
Yeah.
but then now I know them again because I'm having to go and see them again.
Right. So, Greg, you can at least start us off with your favorite horror films.
Okay. I was
Easy
just
one.
looking at Disney. Horror films. I'm trying to think. Like earliest one would be. I suppose an easy introduction for a kid for horror would be Tim Burton films.
Sure.
Otherwise, it'd be a lot of. I'll tell you what. I found this probably covers some of the Disney as well. Is it Snow White that has the old witch?
The original.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The original. I remember that being terrifying. Oh,
yeah, she was terrifying.
What's the one? The thickets. Hacking through the thickets.
Oh,
Sleeping Beauty. Is that Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah, it is Sleeping Beauty, isn't it? Yeah, where he has to get through the.
That's it.
Sleeping Beauty.
And there were a few of those early Disneys that were. I sort of feel like if they were made nowadays, they would have been a lot darker.
Sure.
They were so dark. They were so dark then, and terrifying. But I think with the modern audience and the way they know children can handle more horror now, I think Disney would have gone darker.
Sure.
Exactly.
But I think when you said Exorcist, that I tried to talk to myself with that a few times. Every few years I put it back on.
And the soundtrack again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Oldfield.
Yeah. Yeah. And the same with Halloween.
Yeah.
The soundtrack just. I remember seeing that and I was blown away.
I'll tell you another incredible score for horror. The Goblins, Suspiria.
Oh, Suspiria.
When she's running through the woods.
Suspiria.
That's a fantastic one for sure.
It feels like a panic attack made into sound.
Yes.
My daughter saw a screening of it with Goblin playing. I missed it, but yeah, I'd have liked to have been there.
We were able to see Demons screened with them playing Goblin playing the score for it. And that was a very cool experience.
Is that Barber? Is Goblin's Barber? A demon? Who is that? The director?
That's Fulci, right?
Vulture, that's it.
Yep.
All those are great.
Yeah, classic films, classic.
But actually, as far as score, there's there's some real, I'm talking from score obviously point of view.
Yeah.
There's some real horror score in Ennio Morricone's Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Some of that tension.
Yeah.
Some of the tension is pulled right from. It could be a horror,
Sure.
That stuff's fantastic. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna see which one of you wants to volunteer to do this. This is always a fun experiment. Could someone give us the plot line to Bambi the Reckoning?
Nikki, you can do that.
Right, and I'll try not to give any spoilers.
Sure.
Bearing in mind I haven't seen it yet, so this is going on my memory of making it nearly 18 months ago.
Okay.
So Grandma has 3 sons. I'm starting there, and our lead character, Zana, and her son. Zana is married to one of my sons, and they're estranged. And Zana and my grandson are on their way to meet up at my family home and supposedly see Dad. And on the way, they have a car accident. And you've seen that that's no spoiler. Bambi obviously flips the car, and that's the start. And they're on the run then, and they arrive at the house. And Bambi is chasing them. And from then on, it's a sort of try and escape from Bambi. Sub-story, you've got the hunters. And then there is another section of the story which I feel would be a spoiler.
Okay. So we'll refrain from that piece.
Refrain from that.
Thank you.
Yes, that's up to some other people that are conducting experiments and poison and basically siphoning off the waste into the water as well. So Bambi has natural revenge, obviously, to hunters, but also Bambi is not just your ordinary deer because Bambi's been affected by the poisoned water.
So you both have worked with Scott Chambers on a couple of projects now. How did you both get linked up with him?
You want to start?
No, you please.
So Nikki, I know your history with him is pretty long because I remember watching films of yours when you were doing Proportion Productions, I think they were at the time.
I think I first met Becky and Scott when they were Proportion in 2019. So 6 years of working with Scott. And then obviously Reese started making films during COVID. So I was in a couple of the early ones with him. So yeah, we've got we've done a lot of films together. Certainly Scott and I have.
Yeah.
Now, the film has received positive feedback from the horror community, with reviews praising its skillful blend of horror, humor, and sadness. How did you both manage to balance these elements as an actor and a composer?
That a question for Greg first?
No,
either one can go.
You go first, Nick. Go on. I'll follow your lead.
I don't feel that Mary had much humor because poor Mary is suffering from either I took it as dementia, but there could be something else that's causing her mental health to not be in our world as it is. So there's not much humor with Mary, to be honest. I think the humor is probably more in some of the kills and some of the people who can, I don't know. I don't think it's as humorous as, say, Winnie 2. Pan and Bambi are much darker.
Yes.
See, that's the thing. Horror fans have like this weird, sense of humor. So even like the craziest things that happen on scene, they can think it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, and a really outrageous kill will, of course, have everybody laughing. And that's or a deer basically trying to open a door with a poof might be hilarious if you're in the right company.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can't tell how funny it is because I've never seen, as I said, I haven't seen it, so I haven't seen the VFX properly.
Sure.
All I know is what we were filmed, and we weren't laughing much in that freezing cold.
What about you, Greg?
So cold. So I've actually seen probably more than you have, Nikki, obviously in post, but Yeah, but then much like yourself, I haven't seen much of the special effects. You know, we had this. There's an element of humor in there both because Bambi was basically a cutout for a while, so you had this static image of Bambi, the fingers across the screen. Yes, it will be scary when it happens. But so humor-wise, I think horror, obviously horror and comedy are, as we know, always ever since Grecian times or before then, they're so close together. One step either way, and you're into either comedy or you're into tragedy or horror. And I think horror fiends, much like ourselves, we respond to the absurd. That's what politically, socially, we respond to the absurd because we don't want to be part of the real world, but we have to observe it. It's just unfortunate. We don't want to go into politics, but we have to observe them. So our way to see it is the absurdity, I suppose, as humans. Rather than cry about existential stuff, we just laugh about it. And I think that's what without getting too pretentious, I think that's what these films are tapping into. I think people enjoy the fact that the kind of irreverence or the anarchistic nature of taking something from Disney that was so connected to Disney and saying, well, just, all you people that love Bambi, that. So my granddad, they own a farm and they have livery girls with horses. And I remember, and they didn't know I was involved in Bambi. And they're all nudge go, there's a new Bambi film coming out, oh, I'm going to cry. And my granddad know, and he went, yeah, but not for the reasons you think. And I think that's part of it. I grew up with a family that loved to provoke, and I think a lot of horror people love that too. They want to go and see something terrifying because their response to it is to laugh, and I think that's what these do. It's kitschy, it's silly, but it's done straight.
Yeah.
That last scene, without ruining it. I would say to Dan Allen, the director, that every time I came up to it during scoring, I just welled up. Dan has done an incredible job, and that's only because everyone like Nikki and yourself will pull in their weight. So you get so invested in it for the horror, for the comedy, and for the emotion, the sadness. So yeah, I think horror is great. I love it. I think it's everything. You can put everything into horror, and it's the most visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think this is part of what the question was, but the difference with this one is that you're rooting, I believe, you will be rooting for Bambi, which is kind of, there are some villains in horror that you kind of love as well, but I think more so than any, this one is definitely Bambi's the hero, really, as much as our heroine.
Yeah, there's more catharsism in Bambi than there is, say, Pan.
Yeah, definitely.
I've met some people that love Pan, and you sort of take a couple of steps back,
Yeah. Well, the same with, I guess, Winnie the Pooh, right? Like there's a storyline or like an origin of like, we're supposed to have some empathy towards his but definitely. not fully, right? It goes a step beyond. But like with Bambi, without having seen it, I can kind of anticipate how Bambi would be the hero in a film like that, especially with our background of the original film of Bambi, and like you just immediately feel sorry for this deer that's lost its mother and things like that. So yeah, it's
but there's also another little twist that we can't say, which is why the ending is so emotional.
Okay.
Yeah, I had seen someone put a review saying that they never seen the original Bambi, and this was their first, open the door to watching anything involving Bambi, and they cried at the end of the film, and it was just like, okay, I definitely have to check this out.
There you go. Mission accomplished, right?
Yeah.
Great.
So Nikki, I want to ask you this question. Like I said, I've seen your films from the Proportion production days and working with that company and those filmmakers. Some of those projects were done in like 2 weeks. You guys
Some were
were
done in 5 days, let me
all
tell
right,
you.
even better, 5 days. Just thinking about that, it's like this idea of taking a story that's kind of known already, taking like twisting it, giving it this indie lower budget twist, but also still kind of sticking to trying to make it look quality and have quality people involved. When you started doing those projects, did you ever think that it was going to get to where it is today, where these are like the big theater releases? You have people going crazy over the Winnie the Pooh movies really did set a different tone, right? Like
Absolutely, yeah.
From Cupid to Winnie the Pooh is a pretty giant leap, and I loved Cupid, but it's a pretty giant leap. And now we're having like theater releases for Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Bambi the Reckoning. What's your take on all this? And
Well, I think Scott and Reese would say it too, that nobody expected Winnie One to do what it did. It's at the same level as all those others that you've mentioned, and some of them were actually better than Winnie One, I would say, and I think they would as well. But they just obviously didn't capture whatever it was that went viral that time. It was just the perfect explosion, and it hardly ever happens. It happened for Blair Witch, it happened for Paranormal Activity, but it's very rare that a film explodes like that, especially when it was so low budget. And so the ones that we did all prior to that, yes, we were doing at the level, very fast turnarounds. No, you never expected them to be. We knew we were making them for DVD for the States. In the early days, DVD for UK as well, but that we don't really have DVD releases so much now for indie films.
Sure.
And eventual streaming, and you never thought they'd go to the cinema. But when they realized what they had and that they had to up the budget for Winnie 2, then yes, there was a sort of feeling that actually these are going to be, I mean, you're talking about still really low budget, but if you times it compared to what that original budget was, it's vast difference, and the production value changed, everything about it changed.
Now with both of you working on these films and seeming to kind of follow each project, where do either of you see the potential future for these films, for these Disney IPs? I mean, do you think that there's a cutoff point at some point that people are just going to get tired of this, or do you think this could go on indefinitely?
What do you think, Greg?
Okay, this is probably gonna be an unpopular opinion, I appreciate that, but with most things, I think everything deserves a death. And I don't think you should ever drag a stone too long, to be honest. But I do also think that there's, particularly with like Winnie One, it's coming on the back of people were doing memes of just before then of Winnie the Pooh and King Jong-un, was it?
Yes.
So there was already these films. They come from a punk ethos. You have to admit that. They don't have Hollywood telling you what you've got to do, how glossy it needs to be. It's a kind of it's almost going back to just friends and a camera, and how can we annoy someone? How can we scare them? How can we offend them? And one of the ways this was offending people was by taking something that people loved and saying, we want to ruin it for you. Some people detest it and go and see it just to be more annoyed, and some people love the idea and stick with it. So I think films of this nature, provocative films, need to always exist forever, just for artistic reasons, and social reasons. And again, I know it's pretentious, but I think they need to do. But I think this world needs to Twisted Universe, Twisted what's it called, Twisted Childhood Universe.
Yeah,
It needs
Twisted
to.
Childhood.
That's it. Yeah, It needs to culminate. It needs to bring itself up, and let people want something else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can't keep lusting over the same thing.
Sure.
It's not natural, you know.
Yeah.
But I think as long as it's going, you know, they're fantastic. I think we need to get, like, there's a Mad Hatter one. There's the Pinocchio one, looks incredible,
Yeah.
with Robert Englund. I'm excited for them. I
Sure.
love seeing
Yeah.
people's response, you know,
Yeah.
them getting
Mhm.
excited and, like, you know, being part of it. There's a real social community thing going on with it, because the people, the fans, can get right in contact with the people that were involved in the film, and they
Mhm.
feel a part of it.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
true.
love that. Yeah, it's like it's touching the hands of the people off stage, you know, like Mick Jagger touching the hands of the audience.
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of, I got to be a part of the show, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's very important. That's something
Absolutely.
Hollywood can't do. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I have to say, you know, because like Dave said, we've been fans of Jagged Edge Productions for years, even before this happened. And being able to talk with Scott and, you know, everyone else from the cast from their past films, and, you know, people from, you know, the upcoming films, and having you guys on, it's been a special ride, because, you know, we've been able to dig so deep into this Poohverse, and, you know, and we've been having fun. So like, we really enjoy having everyone on, and we appreciate you guys coming on today. So
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I think you're right, Greg. I think the thing is, you know, everyone who's been in them, some are more experienced than others, but on the
Mhm.
whole, we're not, you know, we're running our own little Instagrams or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you DM us, then we'll write back.
Mhm.
It's unlike, you know, as you say, the Hollywood
Yeah.
level, that you're not going to get as close if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah.
And look, the ones that go to the conventions, you know, Lewis, and they're all, yeah, you can go and see them. I don't think anybody wants to see Mary, but there you go.
Aw,
We'll see you
I
at
wanna
one.
see Mary.
You can go.
Yeah.
Scary Mary.
Scary Mary.
In a nightgown.
Like I said, I think you're the #1 character, right? You and Bambi, Mary and Bambi are, you know, fan favorites.
Are
So
you shipping Bambi and Mary?
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you both so much for taking the time with us. We really appreciate this conversation. And I truly, truly hope that we will connect with you both again on an upcoming project, which I know there's obviously a few titles lined up. So when those titles start to come around, please come back on if you will. We'd love to talk more and, you know, continue to dig into this Poohniverse.
Absolutely. It'll be our pleasure, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, everybody.
All right.
Check out Bambi the Reckoning when it hits your theaters. I know for us, it didn't hit any local theaters, or at least ones that were, you know, close enough for us to drive to. But we're hoping that that changes at some point and we get to have that theater experience. But if it is in your town, make sure you look up, get tickets, and check it out. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we will see you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Takes a lot of love for a person to do this.